Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Deep Rock Galactic. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zarel. Let's get to it. So today we're doing the deep dive, codenamed Unveiled Expanse. But before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. So let's get into it. Stage 1 of the deep dive has Dreadnoughts, Mactera Plague, and a black box. So as you're aware, the Dreadnoughts are the boss-like creature of Deep Rock Galactic. This time around we got the Hive Guard, which is the bullet spongiest of them all. It has 3 phases. It has an invulnerable stage or phase, a shielded phase, and then a damage phase. When it's invulnerable, it calls forth its minions to come take you out. These Praetorian-like sentinels, which will come charge at you and melee you and do a huge amount of damage. Once those are taken out, you go into the shielded stage and then damage phase. Finally, the damage phase, and then do damage as quickly as possible before it goes immune again. Once it goes immune, it's going to call those sentinels once again. They're going to come storm the castle, as it were, come right for you, and try and take you out with that powerful melee. Even though you take them out, they leave behind a goo puddle, which will slow you down. The Hive Guard itself has a fireball attack. It can shoot up to 3 fireballs at a time. Additionally, once it gets into the damage phase, it will not move, but it will rotate around, and it'll throw bombs out in a circle away from it. So if you see any of those bombs, get out of its path. And then, of course, do as much damage as quickly as possible to the Dreadnought before it goes immune again. If everything goes right, you'll be able to take out the Dreadnought in 2 or 3 phases. Normally 3 phases if you do maximum damage before it goes immune, but it might be 4, so your mileage may vary. And if you can do a whole bunch of damage all at once, you might be able to get them in 2. Alright, and at this point, he disappeared. I don't know why he went in someplace else, but all of a sudden he disappeared and then came back and was like, oh yeah, you guys, I'm coming after you again. And there we go, down he goes. Now, of course, the black box is a zone control.
Black box ready and booting.
Repair it. You probably will find it as you're going to the different eggs on the level. Now, Mactera Plague means that there is going to be more flyers than usual, so Mactera spawn, Tri-Jaws, Goo Bombers, etc., grabbers. So you're going to have to keep your eyes and ears open for those attackers. One of the nice things about Deep Rock Galactic is a lot of times you'll hear the bugs before you see them. So if you know what the different sounds mean for which enemy, then it makes a whole lot of sense. Second Dreadnought, the Glyphid Dreadnought. Now, I was getting real low on ammo and I didn't want to call in a resupply, so I happened on this little trick. It went to go around to get me from the other side, so I just swapped from one side to the back to the other, right through that opening that I had created, that tunnel between the 2 sections of the cave. And he would have to run through the lava fields in the level, which would damage him. Now, of course, Bosco was doing some damage too, but Bosco not doing a whole lot of damage. You can tell the difference between Bosco doing damage and then the lava fields. So it took a little bit of trial and error to figure out where the lava fields were at. But once I was able to do that, I was able to take out the Dreadnought without taking damage and without wasting any ammo on it, which is a rarity. So I mean, if you have that option, certainly. But if you have to, just keep your eyes open for Nitra so you can call in resupplies. So here we go. The last few ticks of health, and down he goes. So once you have the black box done and the dreadnoughts 6 feet under, call in the drop pod and make your way on in the deep dive. Now this is a good time to point out that the deep dive is a 3-stage raid-like environment where you can play solo with your buddy Bosco or with up to 3 other players, either pre-made or match-made. Choice is up to you. You can do this solo like I'm doing here if you have your perks leveled up, if you have your guns leveled up. It won't be a problem. Now if you are new to Deep Rock Galactic, you may want to go with a group that is more experienced, just so you can get some of the deep dive experience yourself and kind of see what you're supposed to do. And you can certainly ask. Almost all the people that are playing Deep Rock Galactic are very positive and will help you out if they can. So the options, getting back to the drop pod, you either follow the mule back to the drop pod or you make your own way. If you're a driller, you can drill more or less a straight line depending on the topography of the cave itself. Apparently I hadn't been in this section of the cave. So there we go. That's it for stage number 1. Moving on to stage number 2. Alright, here we go. Stage number 2 of the deep dive. This time around there's no modifier, which is great because ordinarily that means trouble, or more trouble for us. But this time around we've got crystallized morkite and another black box. So once again, just like the previous stage, you're going to do that zone control. You're going to repair the black box. You're going to get it uplinked back to the space station. And you're going to defend against the swarms of enemies that are going to be coming after you. Keep them out of the zone, not because they're going to cause a stop in the progression, but they're going to try and end your life. So keep them at arm's length, keep them out of that dome. And the more people that are in the dome, the faster your progress goes. The fewer people, the slower it goes. And if nobody's in there alive, you start losing progress rapidly. So make sure there's at least one dwarf in there at all times. Alright, but once you have all the crystallized morkite and the black box, call in the drop pod and make your way onward. Crystallized morkite, of course, is you're going to look for that blue-gray glow on the sides of the level. Even if there's no light, you can usually see a glimmer of it. Dig it out just like any other mineral. Now this is a good time to point out that everything carries over from one stage of the deep dive to the next. That includes your health, your ammo, grenades, traversal tools, everything including what's in your pocket. So if you don't have a chance to drop stuff into the mule or into the side of the drop pod, you can do so in the next stage of the deep dive. Just remember to drop it in the drop pod on the 3rd stage of the deep dive before you get out, just so you can get credit for it. Now, as you're going through the deep dive, make sure that you're keeping your eyes open for both gold and nitra. Gold will get you more credits at the end of the deep dive, and nitra will keep you flush with ammo and health by calling in resupplies during the deep dive. So they're both very important, just for different reasons. Now, unlike the last stage, I was kind of following, kind of leading the mule this time around, because I did not want to have that problem where I had to dig through a wall in order to get to the drop pod, where I thought I knew where the drop pod was. And I was right, but there was a wall in between where I was at and where the drop pod was at. So, This stage of the deep dive, I also found jump boots. Keep your eyes open for those, as they will help you out. Unless you're a scout. But even scouts will benefit at least somewhat from having jump boots. So regardless of what profession you're playing, jump boots will help you out. And hopefully if you're playing in a group of 4, everyone has a different job. That way there's no minimal overlap, and getting around the levels are not too bad. So that's it for stage number 2. Moving on to stage number 3. Alright, the third and final stage of the deep dive. This time around, we've got, guess what? Dreadnoughts and a black box, just like stage number 1. You might feel like you're doing stage number 1 again, except this time around we've got cave leech clusters, so keep your eyes once again on the sky like you did in the first stage. However, this is for cave leeches, which will be on the lookout for dwarves to grab and have a little snack. So make sure that you're keeping your eyes open for those guys. There is a perk that'll help you with that. Consider using that on the deep dive if you want. Now this time we got the Hive Guard once again, which means make sure you've got plenty of nitra to call in resupplies, because you're going to need it. Even if you're maximizing your damage during the damage phase. The Hive Guard and the Sentinels take a lot of ammo in order to take them out. Now all these levels do scale with the number of players, so if you're doing it solo, it will be a little bit different than if you're playing with a full group of 4. So if you want the maximum terror and, you know, minimize your own damage, certainly play in a group of 4, and it will likely go faster for you overall than if you're playing solo. Bosco is a really good companion to have, but even he can only do so much. My turret was blocking my view of the Dreadnought, which is pretty rare. And there we go. Hive Guard's down. Moving on. Now one thing about the magma core is that if you're blowing up pieces of the level, you'll have lava left over, which will make it a little bit more difficult to, not more difficult to traverse, but more dangerous. And of course you have tremors, which may cause fissures in the level, and you definitely don't want to fall into one of those fissures. Alright, so we got the Glyphid Dreadnought, just like, I mean, deja vu, just like stage number 1. Stage number 3 is an almost exact carbon copy. The layout's different, but I got the same Dreadnoughts, and you got to keep your eyes on the sky for both of them, although for different reasons. This time around, I did not carry the Dreadnought, the Glyphid Dreadnought, through the lava fields and damage them. It did take a lot longer doing that than just doing direct damage. Alright, gotta watch for that area of attack, that ground pound that he does. He does call forth swarmers, so keep an eye open for those. He does have a fireball that he'll shoot at you, and of course he'll try to melee you if he gets close. And he will try to get close to you. But there's only one section, both on the Hive Guard and on the Glyphid Dreadnought, that are vulnerable, and that is from the back. So if you're looking head on at them, you're not going to be able to do any damage, or very little damage. Whereas if you're behind them, then that is the spot.
Stick around.
If you're in a group of 4, hopefully you have one person that's willing to be a decoy to keep that Dreadnought rolling, and everyone else is going to be behind the Dreadnought doing damage. So that's the key strategy that you want to do there. And then once it goes invulnerable, wait for the invulnerability to drop off. He goes back to shielded. Take out the shield, do damage, and take him out.
One sentry gun ready to be built.
One of the other aspects of the magma core is that it takes 3 swings of your pickaxe to get through each chunk of rock in the stage, which is a far cry different than if you're at the the sandblasted, which only requires 1. Most of them require 2. And there we go, down he goes. So unless you're a driller, you're not going to want to go dig through walls and through the level. Once again, we've got that zone control with the black box. Stay in the zone, keep the enemies out of the zone. Hopefully your black box is in a location that is defensible so that you can do that. And of course, the reasons for doing the deep dive on a weekly basis is for those matrix cores, the credits that you get, and of course the experience that you get. Matrix cores, of course, will give you weapon skins, weapon overclocks, and cosmetics. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
Getting supplies. Red sugar. Grabbing ammo.
Good work. Sending in the drop pod.
You're fast, Bug, but I'm faster.
Drop pod arrived. Mule is returning to LZ. Drop pod departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
Spreader did his last dump. That's great. Take that! One platform ready to use. Platform. Platform's placed. I made a platform.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 4 minutes.
Platform! Now!
The mule's been successfully retrieved. Make it snappy, team. The drop pod won't hang around forever.
Resupply ordered!
Supply drop has been ordered and is on the way.
I ordered a resupply!
Supply pod launched. Better stand back.
Supply arrived, go restock! Sticky, ticky grenade deployed! One sentry gun ready to be built. Time to restock! Rock and roll!
Good work. We're pulling you back in.
And go! Rock and stone to the bone!
PlayStation